7 hikers lost their lives in the Australian wilderness, their dreams ending in the shadows of gum trees. These were not just any hikers, they were young, vibrant individuals, each with a unique story and a shared passion for exploration. They ventured into the wild, seeking the thrill of the unknown, only to find themselves ensnared in a nightmare. They were lured into the hands of a monster, their backpacks holding the promise of adventure, their hearts filled with wanderlust. These backpacks, once symbols of freedom and discovery, now lay abandoned, silent witnesses to the horrors that unfolded. They became victims of Ivan Milat, the Backpacker Killer. Milat, a man whose name would become synonymous with terror, preyed on the unsuspecting, turning their dreams into nightmares. His cold, calculating nature left a trail of devastation in his wake. From 1989 to 1993, the Belanglo State Forest, a tranquil expanse of Australian bushland, became a graveyard. What was once a serene landscape filled with the sounds of nature transformed into a place of unspeakable horror where the cries of the lost echoed through the trees. Young backpackers, lured by the promise of adventure and the open road, vanished without a trace. They set out with dreams of exploring new horizons, meeting new people and experiencing the beauty of the Australian wilderness, only to disappear into the vast, unforgiving landscape. Their families, thousands of miles away, clung to hope, their pleas for information echoing in the vast emptiness of the Australian outback. Each day that passed without news was a day filled with anguish and uncertainty, as they held on to the faint hope that their loved ones would return. The disappearances followed a chilling pattern. Each case, though seemingly isolated, was part of a larger, more sinister puzzle. The locations, the timing, the victims, all connected by an invisible thread that pointed to a calculated and methodical predator. Hitchhikers seeking rides along the Hume Highway vanished. The highway, a lifeline for travelers, became a hunting ground for Milat. Each hitchhiker, with their thumb out and hope in their eyes, unknowingly stepped into the path of danger. Their families, clinging to hope, received postcards, their messages cheerful, their true fate masked by a killer's cruel game. These postcards, meant to reassure, only deepened the mystery, as the cheerful words contrasted starkly with the grim reality. The disappearances sparked fear, the Australian outback seemingly holding a dark secret. The vast open spaces that once symbolized freedom now felt ominous and foreboding as whispers of danger spread. Whispers of a killer on the loose spread like wildfire, each town along the Hume Highway gripped by fear. Communities that once welcomed travelers with open arms now looked upon strangers with suspicion. The shadow of Milat's crimes casting a long, dark pall. The victims, young and full of life, were united by their thirst for adventure and their tragic end. Their smiles, captured in photographs, now serve as haunting reminders of lives cut short, dreams unfulfilled, and the cruel hand of fate. Their stories, woven together by fear and uncertainty, painted a picture of a killer who moved unseen, his motives shrouded in darkness. Each missing person poster, each desperate plea for help, added to the growing tapestry of terror that Milat had created, leaving a legacy of fear that would haunt the Australian wilderness for years to come. The first gruesome discovery came in September 1992. It was a discovery that would forever change the perception of the Belanglo State Forest, turning it from a serene natural reserve into a place of horror and dread. 2 joggers, their morning run leading them deep into the Belanglo State Forest, stumbled upon a nightmare. What was supposed to be a routine exercise turned into a scene from a horror movie, as they found something that would haunt them forever. Hidden amongst the eucalyptus trees, concealed by fallen leaves and forest debris, lay the skeletal remains of 2 young women. The forest, with its dense foliage and natural cover, had kept its dark secret well hidden until that fateful day. Police descended upon the forest, a place of serene beauty transformed into a crime scene. The once peaceful trails were now lined with police tape, and the air was thick with the tension of an unfolding investigation. Forensic teams meticulously combed the area, their grim task made more challenging by the passage of time and the elements told. Every piece of evidence was crucial, as they pieced together the tragic last moments of the victims' lives. The victims, identified as Caroline Clark and Joanne Walters, were last seen hitchhiking south from Sydney. They were young, full of life and on an adventure, unaware of the danger that lay ahead. Days later, another horrifying discovery. The forest, it seemed, was not done revealing its dark secrets. A skull, bleached white by the Australian sun, protruded from the earth. It was a stark reminder of the brutality that had taken place in this seemingly tranquil setting. It belonged to James Clark, Caroline's travel companion. The discovery of his remains added another layer of tragedy to the already grim narrative. The body of his girlfriend lay close by, their final resting place a shallow grave concealed by a thicket of ferns. The forest had become their unmarked grave, a silent witness to their final moments. The tranquility of the forest was shattered, replaced by the chilling realization of a serial killer's handiwork. The serene beauty of the Belanglo State Forest was now forever tainted by the horrors that had unfolded within its depths. The discovery of a third body, that of Gabor Neugebauer, sent shockwaves through the nation. Each new find deepened the mystery and heightened the fear that gripped the community. The forest, once a place of peace and solitude, was now a hunting ground, a killer's playground. The sense of safety that people once felt in nature was replaced by a pervasive sense of dread. The nation held its breath, the full horror of the Belanglo State Forest about to be unveiled. The media coverage was relentless, and the public's fear and fascination grew with each new revelation. The investigation, sprawling and complex, became known as Task Force Air. This team of dedicated detectives was assembled to tackle one of the most perplexing cases in recent history. Detectives, their faces etched with determination, faced a daunting task. They pored over every detail, every scrap of evidence, hoping to find the key that would unlock the mystery. The Belanglo State Forest, vast and unforgiving, held its secrets close. Its dense foliage and remote location made it the perfect hiding place for a sinister secret. The killer, a ghost in the night, left few clues behind. He moved through the forest like a phantom, leaving only the faintest traces of his presence. The victims, united in death, provided the first pieces of the puzzle. Each photograph, each memorial, told a story of lives cut tragically short. Their backpacks, scattered near the graves, contained camping gear, clothing and personal belongings. These items, once symbols of adventure, now served as silent witnesses to the horror that had unfolded. One item, a camera, held the potential to break the case wide open. It was a relic from a time before digital, a tangible link to the past. The film, miraculously intact, revealed images of a young woman. Her face, captured in a moment of joy, was a stark contrast to the grim reality of her fate. Her face, frozen in time, held a mixture of excitement and apprehension. It was as if she sensed the danger that lay ahead, yet remained hopeful. Investigators released the photo to the public, hoping someone could identify the woman and lead them to her killer. The image became a beacon of hope in the dark forest of uncertainty. The image, splashed across newspapers and television screens, became synonymous with the Belanglo State Forest murders. It was a haunting reminder of the lives lost and the justice yet to be served. The breakthrough came from an unlikely source. It was a small detail, easily overlooked, but it held the key to unraveling the mystery. Paul Onions, a British backpacker, recognized the woman in the photograph. His memory of that fateful encounter was vivid and clear. He had encountered a man who offered him a ride, a man who called himself Bill. There was something unsettling about him, something that made Onions wary. Onions, sensing danger, declined the offer. His instincts told him to walk away, and he did, never looking back. His gut feeling, his instinct for survival, saved his life. It was a decision that would later prove crucial in the hunt for the killer. Section 4. The Shadow of Suspicion. Onions' chilling account led police to the doorstep of Ivan Milat. A road worker familiar with the Belanglo State Forest, Milat fit the profile. His demeanor, cold and calculating, sent chills down the spines of seasoned detectives. The net was closing in, the shadow of suspicion falling upon Milat. A search warrant for Milat's home was issued, every word a hammer blow against the wall of silence. Inside, a treasure trove of evidence awaited. Backpacks, sleeping bags and clothing belonging to the victims were strewn about. A gun collection, meticulously maintained, hinted at a darker side. The most damning evidence was a rifle, its barrel meticulously cleaned. Ballistics tests confirmed the grim truth. The bullets recovered from the victims' bodies matched Milat's weapon. The evidence was overwhelming. The case against Milat airtight. Milat, his face etched with an eerie calmness, maintained his innocence. His denials, however, rang hollow. The evidence, a macabre jigsaw puzzle, pointed to one conclusion. Ivan Milat was the backpacker killer. Section 5. Captured. The arrest of Ivan Milat sent shockwaves through Australia and beyond. The manhunt, which had captivated the nation, was over. The monster who had preyed on innocent backpackers was behind bars. Justice for the families of the victims was a step closer. Milat's trial was a media spectacle. The world watched in horror as the details of his crimes were revealed. The evidence, presented with chilling clarity, painted a gruesome picture of Milat's brutality. The courtroom, packed with journalists, family members and onlookers, was filled with a palpable tension. Witnesses, their voices trembling with a mix of fear and anger, recounted their encounters with Milat. Their testimonies, pieces of a horrifying puzzle, revealed a pattern of deception, control and violence. The prosecution, their case meticulously constructed, presented Milat as a cold-blooded killer, a man who took pleasure in inflicting pain and suffering. Milat's defense team, facing an uphill battle, attempted to cast doubt on the prosecution's case. Their arguments, however, were met with skepticism. The evidence against Milat was overwhelming, his guilt undeniable.